live on the set. Welcome to the Bayou, a place where legends are born and many have witnessed them. From Coach Dale to Shaq, Joe and Jaden to Eddie Kennison. You come to Death Valley or P-Mac, expect that voodoo. Top speed like it's 4-2, where nobody's catching Boo2. Represent the Chuck and WM no matter what. From Gosport to a legend, that's what's up.
Welcome to another edition of Geaux2Legends. Man, I'm super excited for this particular episode because this young man brought a lot of great excitement, not only from his high school, but coming into LSU, and we're gonna dive into it. But before I introduce him, let me say that if no one has told you today, let me be the first to tell you that I love you with the love of Christ. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it, and be a light that shines so bright today that it has the impact to save someone's life. And man, let me tell you, we just finished with Mardi Gras. My Chiefs are Super Bowl champions for the second year in a row. So this week has been pretty doggone special. And ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, my former quarterback, Mr. Herb Tyler. Welcome in, brother.
Eddie, man, such a pleasure to be here, man. And thank you so much for that intro. I love you, and I will definitely be that light to chase the darkness away, brother.
Oh,
yes,
man, it's so wonderful, right?
Yes.
We can't start our day without giving God some glory and some praise, man. So, and just being able to use this platform and God creating this to be able to share those few words, man, we just never know. We never know what people are going through, right?
That's right.
So whatever light we can shine on and get rid of that darkness, brother, that's very, very fantastic.
Yes, we have an opportunity to be influencers every day, either way, positive or negative. And we choose our influence light to be positive.
Oh, man.
And that's it. And you make that choice as a person.
That's right.
Right? So your reactions to something is completely depicted upon whether or not you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because someone does something negative to you doesn't mean your response has to be that.
That's right.
So you get to choose whether you want to be happy today, sad today, angry,
that's right,
or loving, or caring, or whatever it is.
Oh, man, I have a saying, you probably heard this before, but for me personally, the most powerful thing that we have as humans is the power of choice.
The power of free will.
Free will,
That's
choice,
right.
brother.
That's right.
And when I tell you, my guy Herb Tyler, man, we're going to dive into this thing, brother. We're going to find out some fun facts, some fun things, and about who Herb Tyler, the man, the myth, the legend,
That's right,
is all about.
Let's do it.
From old Perry Walker High School, but we'll get into that.
That's right.
Because we're going to talk through some things from those days.
Yeah.
But first of all, you as a young kid coming up into the world of sports. I started when I was 7. I was street racing and playing ball in the streets. So I started around 7. That's where I found my love for sports.
Yeah.
Take us to the time where Herb Tyler really fell in love with sports.
Man, great question. Or great lead-in segment to starting this whole wonderful thing. And I want to just first of all start off by saying congratulations to you, Mr. Eddie. And you're a great source of light. You're a great source of peace for myself and many others. So we see what you're doing, brother, and keep on doing it. And God is covered over you and through you. So
thank you,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, man, look, it started for me back when I was probably 5, 6, 7 years old as well. More 5, being in the Fisher Projects in the New Orleans on the West Bank. And I just remember playing in what we call the courtyard, which is a big giant space in between 2 big project buildings, right? And just, you know, having a football, and then there's nothing to do but we play throw up tackle, or we create some teams or whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's where my love for football and sports began, because we played football, we played basketball, we played a game called Cool Can, which was basically like throwing a tennis ball at cans on one side with sort of a bat, and you had to hit the ball off of a bounce or whatever. It was weird, but it was one of the most fun games ever.
It was the project's version of cricket. That's what it sounded like.
Exactly what it was. We call it cool can because we use cans. And but so I remember too, as a young boy, my favorite team was the Dallas Cowboys, and I was a huge Tony Dorsett fan. And I remember asking my mom and dad for that Tony Dorsett football uniform for one Christmas, and they got it for me.
Yeah.
And I remember being 7 or 6 or so, whatever it was, the only kid with that Dallas Cowboy gray helmet with the blue star on it, with the Tony Dorsett jersey with some shoulder pads and some pants. And we were out there playing touch football, and I got the whole gear on, and I'm like, I'm about to ball out on you guys. So I remember. So that's where it started. And I'm gonna tell you, man, there's so many great athletes that come in and out of those types of places that it taught me how to understand not the game, but understand the trials and tribulations that come with wins and losses.
Right.
And also understanding my ability versus someone that had superior ability than I did. And because I was, you had kids that were anywhere from 5 to 10, 11, 12 playing. So I'm maybe 6 playing with 12-year-olds.
Right.
And so that's where my understanding of, what my level of play was at whatever particular time was started to flourish or come to be.
So running through the courtyard and you playing against other guys besides Herb Tyler, we'll get into that process. Are there any other guys that came from your home area that played in any sport, whether they went to college or anyone you can think about that's out there or did play?
At that level or time, no, not that I can think of that were in that courtyard, but that area, the West Bank, Algiers, and in New Orleans on that side of the river, there's plenty people that's come from, Edna Carr, Oper Walker, L.B. Landry, Landry Walker, and it's a beautiful thing, and a lot of them have gone through LSU,
right?
Also,
well, I mean, and so we're gonna get to the point of getting to LSU, but getting through the courtyard, and then getting to play Little League football or Pop Warner football, as we called it, as growing up. But you get to Oper Walker High School, your freshman year. If you can go back and kind of walk us through those feelings and those things that happened for you at Oper Walker High School.
So I gotta back up a little bit in order before we get there, because there's things that happened prior to that allowed me to be able to share the experiences of what happened at Oper Walker.
Yeah.
So after the courtyard at the Fisher Projects, we ended up moving across the river. My mom, my dad, and myself moved with my aunt across the river, what we call across the river, which was kind of mid-city, and in New Orleans. And we stayed there, and I went to a little private school, didn't really do much for 3 months or something. Then we moved back to the Fisher Project for another 2 months. And then we ended up moving from there to the Cutoff, is what we call it, in Algiers. And then the Cutoff is where it started.
Right.
That's when the Little League started. So I played for the Cutoff Warriors, or the Lower Coast Warriors. And I played for Coach Dillon and a couple other coaches that were really pivotal and instrumental to my growth as a football player. Now, my dad didn't know that I had signed myself up to play. My mom knew because she helped me sign up, right? But my dad did. My dad was a welder. All he did was work. My mom was not a working mother. She was just an at-home mother. And so my mom was actually the one that taught me how to throw a football.
Wow.
She can throw a football just as well, if not better than I can, meaning how it comes off of her hand.
Right.
And she was the one that was in the front yard with me, in the courtyard, throwing the football with me when my dad was working all the time. Wow. So that was important too. Now, when I first got to Lower Coast or Cutoff, the Little League team, if you will, I was a center. And then one of the players was like, man, coach, he don't need to be playing center. You need to see him throw the football. And as the legend is, which is not true whatsoever, but the legend goes, coach said, okay, son, let me see you throw the ball. So I threw the ball, and it was 60 yards against the wind in a pouring rain, sleet, snow, and everything else, right?
It was doing hurricane season.
It was right. The hurricane was flourishing right now. So it was just a perfect, beautiful pass. And he was like, okay, you get a shot to play quarterback.
Right.
So from that point, that's when I started playing quarterback. So I played Little League for 3 or 4 years for the Cutoff Warriors and moved up to Edna Carr. The Edna Carr story is just as pivotal as any other. So we played for a guy by the name of Coach Al Ott, who played at LSU as well.
I remember that name.
And he was our head coach. And Edna Carr at the time was a junior high. And we were undefeated. Every year we played, we were undefeated. And we went city championship after city championship. And so my 7th grade, I didn't play, but 8th grade and 9th grade, I played for Carr. My 8th grade year, so you asked the question, who are some guys that came up? Well, one of which was my 8th grade, the quarterback at Carr, and he was the 9th grader, was Patrick Surtain.
My boy.
Pat.
Love Pat Surtain.
Pat is the man. So Pat is one of those guys that paved the way for everybody. And obviously a Go Jacket winner and all this stuff. I mean, he's just a phenomenal person. Coaching, his son is now in the league, so that's one person. We had some other great players that's played with us as well, that didn't go on to do such great things as Pat did, but highly pivotal to my success as a player, my understanding as a teammate, my character, and who I am. Coach Ott instilled what we all would talk about at Edna Carr. We call it pride. We wore it inside of our football on our shirt. It was a shirt that had Carr pride on it all the time. And the one thing he taught us was the ability to take yourself out of the I's and the me's and implement yourself into the we's and the us's. So when you do that, then you now say, I'm going to take my job and I'm going to make it the most important thing for us as a whole. And that is a beautiful thing. And we literally never lost a game.
Wow. Literally
never lost a game. We were in trouble in a couple of games, but we never lost a game. So my first year, my 8th grade year, I was a cornerback. And Eddie, best cornerback in the country. So that year we played 5 games because that was the strike year for the teachers. Well, I ended up winning Mr. Interception.
Wow.
I had 9 interceptions in 5 games. I ain't tackled nobody, Eddie, but I caught all the interceptions.
You caught all?
Yeah, I ain't tackling nobody. Not happening. But intercept after intercept. So myself and Delphine Lee, he had 9 intercepts. I had 9 intercepts. So we both were Mr. Interception that year.
That's crazy.
And but we had some players, man. We had like Herman Dyson was on that team. Delphine Lee. We had Sprout. He was a running back. I mean, I can just literally just start going down names of guys that went to also like Charlie Arrow. I don't know if you know Charlie or not.
I know the name.
But Charlie played linebacker at McNeese, and I think he's still coaching at McNeese now today. So there's some really great names that I can just start, rattling off and saying. But the point of that story or that particular time is that's where that foundation was laid for me for football and truly understanding what it meant to be a team player.
Right.
And how to win successfully and how to know how to win.
Right.
And now we never lost. So I had to learn. The learning of losing came the next phase, which was the Oper Walker phase. So I had a choice to make my 9th grade year. So my 8th grade year, I played cornerback, did very well, balled out. I think I was a Heisman Trophy cornerback for 8th grade, just so you know in my mind. 9th grade, starts off, okay, here's my chance to play quarterback. Pat has now moved up from 9th grade to 10th grade because Carr now is a high school.
Right.
In the first year that they were high school, they only had 10th graders. So now Pat's moved up to the 10th grade. He's playing quarterback for the high school. My chance to shine at quarterback for the junior high, which is 9th grade.
Yeah.
Well, Charles Smith, you remember Charles?
I know Charles.
So Charles was at Carr with us.
Yeah.
So we're at practice, going into the season, like camp or something like that, 1 week before the first game. Well, Charles is a grown man. The same Charles you met at LSU was the same one in 9th grade, the same exact person,
we
size
all
and
had
everything.
some of
That's
them,
right.
yeah.
So Charles hit me and sprained my ankle going into my 9th grade year. So it's my 9th grade year. What happens is, so now Noel Ellis, who played at Tulane, who awesome person, loving to death, one of my brothers to this day, he and I were rotating at quarterback every play.
Every play.
Every play. So for a whole season, for 8-9 games, whatever it was, all the way through the championship game, we rotated each play. Literally, I go in one play, I come out. He goes in, He comes out, I go in. Literally every play for the whole season.
Wow.
Until we get to the championship game. We got to the championship game, and we were rotating the first half. But we weren't doing too well. And Noah's struggling just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Noah's a natural defensive player, right? But he's an athlete. He can play any position. So coach at halftime says, okay, Herb, you're going to play quarterback the whole 100% of the time in the second half. Noel, you're going to play cornerback or safety, whatever it was that he was playing. And we ended up winning that game.
Wow.
In the Superdome. So we played two seasons in the Superdome. We always played the city championship in the Superdome. So it was special for me. So we ended up doing that. So we win that. So fast forward just a couple months later, I have a decision to make. Do I stay at Carr and try to play quarterback, knowing that Pat is the quarterback in the senior high, or do I transfer? I'd say transfer, but so the natural progression was you to go from Carr to either Landry or really from Carr to Walker at the time, because there was no high school. Carr was not a high school until this year. So now I have a decision to make. The coaches was, man, you're going to be the quarterback. Pat's going to play cornerback. I'm like, Pat is the quarterback in my mind because he's the guy. He's the man. Right. He knows how to lead. He knows all this stuff. And I made a decision to go to Walker. To this day, we talk about it a little bit, guys that I went to school with or whatever. Right. Had I stayed at Carr, we'd have probably won every championship from the moment that we left. We just had the talent. It was just there. And
but that's just South. That's just the South in general.
Yeah, the South Louisiana, or just Louisiana, period, right?
Yeah, man.
So I ended up going to Oper Walker, making that decision, and I think it was the best decision for me because then now I get to learn adversity. Mm-hmm. First day on campus, I'm on campus, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, this is good. You know, right before classes start, all of a sudden you hear gunshots, pop, 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 and so. You know, everything shakes out. One, teenager killed, another one goes to jail, blah, blah, blah.
This day one.
Day one, Oper Walker.
Jeez.
So the person that goes to jail is a guy who's a friend of mine that lived right down the street from me. Mm. He's the one that did the shooting. Lived in the cutoff, shot another guy that lived in McClennyville or Christopher Holmes at the time, I think it was. And this kid is dead. So the crazy connection to that is, the guy that did the shooting, good friend of mine, grew up with him. He and I were really close friends. The guy that was shot was the brother of a guy that ended up playing offensive tackle, defensive tackle with me in high school.
Wow.
So the connections are there, right?
Right.
And so this is the very first day of school. And I'm like, man, did I make a mistake or what? But the reality is I came from the projects, understood what all that was anyway. Right. So I always saw all of that coming up. And then in the cutoff, it wasn't much better, but things were happening in there as well. But so this is now a gut check moment for me. What do I do? Well, I got to just keep going. I made the decision. I'm dedicated to this. Here I go. I will move forward.
Right.
So I move forward, and I get on. So coach is like, okay, not coach, but we get to the point of where, hey, who's trying out for football? Because before this, I had no dealings with the football team. And so I go that same night, the day or whatever. After that, we go to practice or whatever, and coach is like, who are you? And I'm, tell them who I am and what I did at Carr, whatever. Okay, sounds good. We had a guy by the name of Herman Dyson who was a quarterback. Now, before this, just so you know, before that, L.C. Sertan, who is Patrick's brother, was the quarterback at Oper Walker.
Wow.
The year before and the 2 years before that, I think. And so I'm seeing Pat play quarterback at Carr, which his brother did, and then moved on to Walker. And then now I'm like, I didn't realize that, okay, now I'm about to go to Oper Walker and have this challenge as well.
Right.
But his brother had luckily moved on. His brother was awesome too. LC was great, one of the best quarterbacks in Oper Walker history. But then, but Herman Dyson was the guy. I'm talking about grown man, 6'3".
I remember Herman.
250 or whatever, won a 4.340. The man. So we're going through all this stuff, and I get on the team. First couple games. So the first game, I'm the punter. Eddie, I'm a baller. Eddie. I'm punting the ball. I'm 52 yards a punt, probably more like 47.
Right.
But I'm averaging it. I'm good. I'm making it happen. I made all 3 tackles on the punt team. When we punt the ball, I tackled the receiver of the punt 3 times in the first game against Clark. And I'm just thinking I'm about to make it happen.
It's the special teams.
Make it happen. I'm going to just do something. Then I'm not playing offense at the time. I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm like, I'm cool with this. But then they was like, okay, let's put him back at cornerback, see what he can do. So I'm out there I'm out there D'ing them up, but I ain't tackling nobody.
Mr. Heisman Trophy.
I'm gonna let them go right past me.
Right.
If they got the ball in their hands. If they don't, I'm gonna D them up. So that's what happens in that first game. Second game, we play Shaw. And this is the beautification of it all. We win that game. We come back. We're playing Shaw. I'm playing cornerback. They start me this game at cornerback and punter. I'm shutting everything down on my side. Mm-hmm. They're not running to my way, but they're running the opposite side. They're scoring points. I think we were down like 41-7 or 35-7 in the second quarter. Coach says, "Okay, Herman, you go to tight end. Herb, you go to quarterback, and they put whoever else back at cornerback." Well, 2.5 quarters later, we lose 49-42.
Wow.
So we come back. I'm throwing touchdown after touchdown, running touchdown, 60-yarders. I mean, just killing them.
Right.
And that was the true birth of what I call Herb Tyler's football breakout career. Right. And it was such a beautiful thing because, again, I go back to the car days. It taught me how to be prideful enough to really dedicate myself to my craft, but not be selfish enough to say, "Coach, I should be the guy."
Right.
So I had to learn to punt, be the punter, be the cornerback, be this, and sit on the side until my time is called.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you, when we get to the end, I'm going to tell you how it all circles back to the one and only true living God.
Oh, man. Boy. That's what I'm talking about. And I'll take you back even further. You was throwing balls with your mama coming out of the kitchen.
That's right.
From cooking food, mama going in the front yard. So
that's right.
That's where the true craft came in.
That's right.
So you have the breakout game.
Yep.
And let's move to your senior year.
Yep.
Right? And letters are starting to come in,
yep.
From different universities. I know when I came out, we had 5 visits. I think they still have 5 visits to this day.
Yep.
Did you take any visits? And if you did, where did you go?
I did. So after that Shaw game, we ended up playing John Curtis. Ran through John Curtis. We lost.
And John Curtis kicked out behind in the state championship game in 1992.
Yeah, 92.
Yeah.
So that's the year. So 92. So John Curtis was in our district. So we played them 92, 93, and 94.
So it was 91 when we played.
It's 91.
Yeah.
So they won championship after championship after championship each year. So but what's significant about that is the play that I was doing and how I was making plays. Coach Curtis was a true advocate for me for LSU. He literally was telling Coach Donardo, because when Coach Donardo came in was when LSU offered me a scholarship. So before we get to that, I had offers to Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Tulane. That was it. Not that was it, but those were the 4 schools that I committed to visit. Now I had other offers: Florida State. There's tons of offers, Cal Berkeley, places like that.
Right.
But these are the 4 schools that I committed to go to visit. And so I go visit each and every one of them, with the exception of LSU, because at this time LSU wasn't on the radar.
Wow.
So I visit all of those schools, and then Donardo comes in December, because Curly Hallman goes out after the season.
That's right.
Donardo comes in December. They go visit somebody at John Curtis. And JT's like, "Man, y'all need to go see this kid Herbert Tyler."
Right.
Because they would call my whole name Herbert Tyler. So, and then they ended up watching video or whatever. And then Coach Baldwin and Coach Watts came by to see me. And from that point, they came by to see me, and it was like, "Hey, we want you to come take an official visit." Sure, it's right there. Let me go do it anyway. Might as well. I have 1 left. I was on my way to Tulane.
Wow.
I loved Oregon State. It was a beautiful place and location.
Right.
Too far for me.
Too far.
Oklahoma State with Coach Bob Simmons was the place to be, but I was unsure of myself.
Right.
Tulane had everything with Buddy Tevens that I wanted. I loved the fact that Buddy Tevens was just who he was, and I really didn't want to leave the city.
Right.
But LSU, I remember seeing Eddie Boo catch this punt return, a kick return, whatever it was, 99 yards, 100 yards. And Eddie Boo looked so smooth running on that field with that gold pants and that white jersey. I said, "Man, them uniforms look good."
Right.
And it sure looked good on Eddie Boo. I said, something about it really drew my attention.
Right.
I don't think I watched 2 LSU games prior to that.
Wow.
I would always watch Tulane games. So we didn't have cable or nothing. So whatever came on regular TV is what I was watching. And a lot of times the Tulane games came on. So I was watching Derek Zeno, who was a quarterback at Tulane. Yeah. I think Ron Sewell, I think his name, was a running back there at Tulane at the time. So I'm watching these guys play at week in and week out. So LSU wasn't really on the tube much until a couple, CBS games or ABC, whatever games they were.
Right.
And I would watch a couple of those, but that was it. But that one game that I saw you return the punt was really one of the reasons that piqued my interest.
Right.
And so when Donato and them came and they offered to have a visit, I took my visit. I said, I'm gonna do it. And my dad didn't come.
Right.
I drove myself up there by myself. My mom didn't come either. And we get up here. I get up here anyway at the hotel, which is right on Acadian. Man, I can't think of the name of, right by the Outback right there. But
I think it's Embassy.
No, it's not Embassy. No, this is back in the days. It's on Acadian.
Yeah.
So I walk in the lobby, and I see this guy. He's got on polo shirt, kind of like this, with some khaki pants and some shoes, clean cut, tall, about 6'1", swole up. Hey, coach, how you doing? My name is Herb Tyler. I'm here to, on a visit for LSU. Man, I ain't no coach. My name Marquise Spears. I'm a player too. I said, oh, my bad. And so that's where that relationship started to forge. So
right.
Thick, as we call him,
that's
Marquise
right.
and I were roommates.
Yeah.
On that trip.
Marquise, the old Lake Charles guy.
Yeah. No.
Marquise Spears?
Marquise, yeah, Big Thick. He's from Zachary.
Okay, we talk about a different Marquise.
Yeah.
We have one that's from Lake Charles that is kind of thick, that's kind of big like that. But anyway.
Yeah, linebacker. Yeah. So that's where that relationship started. So that was a beautiful, beautiful time. I remember being on LSU's campus and thinking, man, this is a great place. This is so much better than Tulane.
Yeah.
So much better than wherever. But I was also home, but away from home. Mm-hmm. And I think that mattered. And at the time, too, my daughter had just been born. So right. I had my oldest child was born. So it was really cool for me to be able to be home, but be away at the same time.
Yeah, man. So you get through that process and you decide, all right, you take your visits, come to LSU, you see it, you're on campus. Other than meeting Marquise in the lobby,
yep.
What told Herb Tyler that LSU is a place I want to go play football? What put you over the top? What was the icing on the cake to make that decision to come to LSU?
Kevin Falk said that I'm going to LSU. When Kevin announced that he was going to commit to LSU and go play football at LSU, that's when all the dominoes started to fall with our 95 class.
Wow. And
so that was pivotal. So everybody else that was from Louisiana in that 95 class, it's crazy, played in the All-Star game.
Wow.
I didn't play in that game. I wasn't even a participant. I guess they didn't consider me as an All-Star. Mm-hmm. But here I am. I'm one of the guys that's being offered a scholarship.
Yeah.
But I didn't play, and that didn't sit well with me. Because I know I'm just as good as everybody else in here.
Right.
But that's just a personal challenge to myself.
Right.
When I said that to say, those guys were talking to each other prior to, so they knew Kevin was going to, commit. I didn't know that because I'm on the outside looking in. I didn't play in that game. So, but when I saw that Kevin had committed, I said, yep, that's the place that I want to be.
Going.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so 1995, Jared Donato, he deemed that season bringing back the magic.
Yeah.
And we've heard, this kind of theme and line throughout a few of the podcasts. Kevin was on.
Yep.
Mark King was on. So those guys remember that bringing back the magic. You guys come in, you step on campus, and it was truly a bringing back the magic season because LSU had won a bowl game in, 8 years, 9 years. I hadn't been anywhere. You step on LSU campus to get ready to play LSU football. Take us through your freshman year.
Nice. So, man, my dad brings me up in the old 85 Lincoln town car. I had a Nissan Sentra that was in the shop at the time because wrecked it. And so my mom and my dad would come up when I have 2 sets of bedspreads, 2 sets of this, 2 sets of that, clothes, and whatever. So me and Thick were roommates.
Right.
It's just crazy how things happen. So me and Thick are roommates, and we're doing whatever, and we're just hanging out. Knock on the door. This is like the second day of camp, or the freshman camp deal.
And camp used to be camp back
then.
then.
It was real camp.
Right now, it's cakewalk.
Yeah. I don't know what they do now, but I know what we did then, and I ain't trying to go back to that.
Right.
But there's a knock on the door. Hey man, any of you boys have a pillow or a sheets or something? And I'm looking up. I'm like, okay, this is a big dude. I said, yeah, I got a extra pillow. Yeah, you got sheets too? Yeah, I got sheets. You have a comforter? Yeah, I got that too. Okay. Can I borrow it? No problem. Give it to him. So that person that came and knocked on the door, and I never got it back, was Booger McFarland.
Booger McFarland.
So Booger, when you hear this, I want my sheets and my bedspread back.
We can call Booger right away. That's right.
But no, it's just crazy how things happen. So that's one memory that I remember.
Yeah.
From the very first couple of days. That's outside of football. It's just the experience thereof.
In Broussard.
Oh, and so we get on the football field. So literally there's Marcus Taylor, Nicky Savoy, myself, and Clifton White, who were the quarterbacks, quote unquote, that they brought in that season.
Right.
So in this order, Marcus Taylor, Nicky, Cliff, and myself. So that's what the pecking order was. So wow. in the I guess the freshman camp.
Sure.
So this is before you guys came on. And so I guess during those 3 or 4 days, whatever that time period was, Marcus Taylor ended up saying, this is just not the place for me. So he left, went to Alcorn. Nicky ended up not being able to, they ended up changing his position to tight end.
Tight end.
Cliff ended up moving to safety, and I was the only guy left. Mm-hmm. So when you guys came in, Coach Donardo sat me down and said, hey, we really think you should give the cornerback position a chance, because I'm not sure if you're going to ever play quarterback here. I said, sounds good, but I'm going to go ahead and take a knee this year. This year. Let me see what I can do. Let me figure out how I can make this happen this year.
Right.
Well, we go through camp. James is the starter. Melvin's second team. Casey's third. I'm forward. A few, let me say this. So as we're going through the year, I'm redshirted. First, second, third game, whatever. But I'm playing scout team, killing the defense.
I remember that too.
Winning scout team player of the week, probably 3 or 4 times. Larry won it 1 or 2 times, and that was it. And then I just remember Jamie getting hurt against Florida. Melvin comes in, plays that game out. Then Melvin plays and starts the Kentucky game. Mm-hmm. Purple pants.
I remember that game.
We were losing that game. Coach Donardo walked up to me and said, okay, Herb, you ready to go in? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go in. And then he said, don't worry about it. Go sit down. So I guess in the headset, they were having the conversation is, do we put him in the situation right now, or do we prepare him correctly? Mm-hmm. And so what happened is, so I go sit down, don't play in that game. I was excited. I'm ready to go. Don't play. Come back the next week. Jamie's playing. Again, he's back. Well, they put me at the second team at this point. So Jamie, we play Alabama, and that's when they had Dwayne Rudd and all these other people. Well, Jamie gets hurt again that game, and then I go in for the final series. I do nothing. I'm in there shaking in my boots. Don't know what's going on. Not happening. Horrible. Gets Chris Hill hurt.
Right.
All kind of stuff. So sorry about that, Chris. I love you, brother. Come back the following week. They named me the starter because Jamie's out for the season. So that was literally 8 weeks into the season of my freshman year.
That's right.
So I'm a true freshman. The best thing they could have did was give me that opportunity for that week of practice. Mm-hmm. And I remember guys like yourself, Shedrick Wilson, Ben Bordelon, Gabe Northern, Pat Rogers, Desertel. I remember you guys just embracing the fact that I was going to be the guy moving forward,
right? And
telling me you don't have nothing to worry about. Just play your game, and just do you, because we trust in you.
That's right.
And I just remember being in the huddle. Every time I had to get in the huddle, I'm looking up because everybody's taller than me. I'm looking up, And I'm looking at guys that are 22, 23 years old. And here I am, a 17-year-old freshman.
Right.
Out here. I'm like, and then I turn around and I look in the stands and there's, 80,000, 90,000 people in the stands. I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah. This is real.
This is real. But I'm prepared for it. Yeah. So it goes back to the days at Carr.
Yeah.
Understanding how to win, understanding what a team is about, because y'all showed me that y'all were about team and not about individuality.
That's right.
And so we start playing, and I don't know you remember this, but in the North Texas game, I threw a couple touchdown passes to you or whatever, and we were playing, and ended up beating them significantly. But we went on a run that year.
Yes,
we won all the remaining 3 games we needed to win in order to get to a bowl game.
That's right, the Independence Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one of those games against Arkansas, we won 28-0, but there was a pivotal catch that you made.
Oh boy, I know which one you're talking about.
Jumping up in the air, catching the ball over the defender's head and flipping,
right, and
just hanging on to that thing. And I said, man, that is a true definition of professional right there.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, bro. And that, I mean, I'm living and playing that play in my head right now, because that play is actually on my highlight tape. And, and to look at it and to hear you even remember that play, that's a pivotal play. So we get through that game, right?
Yep.
We get to the pull-on Weed Eater Bowl, right?
Yes.
I mean, it was like, and being in Shreveport, that was huge. Not only for LSU, but it was huge for LSU fans. I mean, because that place was packed like
it was
Tiger Stadium, because we hadn't been in a while.
Yep.
So, man, we get to the bowl game, and you have a game. You have a game, man. And I mean, it was a shootout, but when you really got your rhythm in that game between you and Kevin, because I think Kevin was MVP of that game.
Yep, he was.
Bruh, you showed out. We showed out. And I know you thought about this because you're an intelligent brother, that bringing back the Magic season, winning the bowl game when we won it, that kicked off where LSU is today.
Today, yes.
And I don't know if the young guys that were here 5, 10, 15 years after that, and even to this day, how
significant do they understand what that meant?
Right. And that meant a lot to you, that meant a lot to me. And that meant a lot to what LSU athletics are today. Yeah. Because we have multiple champions in different sports.
Yep.
And it's the only sport that I remember that was winning national titles was our women's track team.
Track team, yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
And that 95 season, with you coming in and with Kevin coming in and a few other 95 class, that was truly bringing back the Magic.
Yeah, so you bring in Todd McClure, who was a starting true freshman, Booger McFarland, starting true freshman. You had, Rondell Mealy, who came in the year after that, started playing, and Larry Foster, all of these guys, man, it was pivotal. But that game, the Independence Bowl, the great part about it was that Nick Saban was coaching.
That's right.
Michigan State.
That's right.
And you go back and look at that roster and the guys he had on it who went to the league and played, all of them. From the quarterback, Tony Banks.
That was my quarterback in St. Louis.
That's right.
Drafted that same year together.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and then Musa Muhammad, and I mean, just
Derek
all these
Mason.
guys, Derek Mason, all these guys.
Yeah, man. Oh.
I mean, then they had some defensive guys too that went to the league and played well. The pivotal part about that was the fact that it was televised, and we showed not only everybody in the state, but in the country, of what LSU could potentially be.
That's right.
And when you say bring back the Magic, that bringing back the Magic is a phrase. Mm-hmm. But what's inside of that is you're bringing a belief system within a university that was just completely depleted of belief prior to.
Yeah.
And so that kickstarted a 3-year run of bowl game history, right?
Because y'all played in the Pull-on Weed Eater Bowl the year after you played Notre Dame, right?
2 years after. So we played Michigan State the year you were there, that you balled out and returned a kick return and caught a beautiful touchdown pass from yours truly. Jumped over the fence. I don't know how you did that. And then I remember, I can't let this slide, Eddie. After the game.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Boo came up to old little bitty Herb Tyler and said, man, thank you for helping me get to the league. I'm out. And then I said, well,
and I
man.
think you were the only person who knew at that time.
Yeah, you literally walked up to me and said that, and I didn't know the magnitude of what you were saying.
Right.
I'm a kid. I still, like, at the end of the day, all this stuff is happening, and I don't know why it's happening.
Right.
I'm just doing what my steps were ordered to do by God. And that's it. But when you said that, I didn't know what that meant. I'm just trying to find my mom and my dad,
right.
see if I can see them in the stands, because it was cold out there. You remember that? And so, but then I remember, a couple of weeks later or something like that, Eddie Kennison declares for the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you coming back. I'm like, oh man, we got Eddie coming back. We're gonna have Larry. We're gonna have whatever. Eddie gone. Eddie need to be gone.
I never stepped foot back on campus after that game.
And until about 6 years ago. I'm just kidding. But no, I understand. And you shouldn't have. It was your time.
Oh man.
Your steps were ordered in that way, right?
Yeah, no question.
So
no question.
That being said, so we played that game, and then the following season we go 10-2. We lose to Alabama and we lose to Florida, who Florida just whooped everybody. I think they beat the Saints, the Chiefs, and I think they beat New England Patriots that year too. But they ended up beating us like 63-10 that year, and they win the championship. Wow. But we ended up 10-2, and we played Clemson in the Peach Bowl that year. Which that year, Clemson and LSU, we were literally the same team. We were so much the same team that we beat them 10-7 in that game.
Wow.
And in that game, I was the MVP of the Peach Bowl.
Wow.
That year. So that was pretty cool. That was fun. That was an experience. But also there was an experience that taught me something during that Peach Bowl. And I'll share this story with you. I remember everybody going out every day, because you're at the bowl game for a week. Right. Everybody, we're in Atlanta. Everybody's going out Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, we're not supposed to be, you have curfew starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, they still going out. I remember just being home. Mm-hmm. Not home, but in the hotel. Right. Sitting in there studying, just trying to figure things out, just being myself and just trying to figure what's going on and how do I be the best that I can be. Well, not going out, not doing anything, I think contributed to me having a really great ball game and winning the MVP.
You were focused, man.
Yeah, and we could have won by more points, but there was some balls that were dropped. There were some other things that happened, but outside of that, I think it was just a great time. The guys are having a great time. We wasn't 100%, but I thought that was huge for me, and that's a part of who I am as a person. Yeah. I don't always have to be out and about, because I'm trying to find some alignment and synergy within myself.
That's right. So
that I can be the best that I can be for the people I need to be.
Well, and that's a great segue into us, getting ready to wrap up here in a bit. But I want to ask you, and we cannot go without understanding Herb Tyler right now after the game of football and as a family man.
Yeah.
Tell us about your wife and kids, man. Tell us a little about them.
Yeah, so after football, in my mind, I should have been a New Orleans Saint playing for 15 years, winning championships, MVPs, all this stuff. Didn't happen. Didn't get a chance to go to camp. Didn't chance to do any of that stuff. I just knew that was going to happen. Well, so I don't get that opportunity. I go to Canada. I try Canada. I didn't really I liked it, but it was not enough money, and I was too far away. It was away from my kids. Came back, played a little arena football, did a couple things, couple years there, tore my Achilles, wasn't making any money, time to stop. So I stopped playing football, and then I try to focus on my family life. But at this point, I'm upset at God. Mm-hmm. God didn't give me my opportunity I was supposed to get. But that really wasn't God. It was. You know how it is. You're being drafted by another man.
That's right.
They make the decision whether or not you get to go. So that's not in the divine plan, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't understand this at the time. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm not centered on who I am. So I'm married. This is my first marriage. And my son, I have my daughter, I have my son, and we're moving forward. And life just goes. And I'm still upset at God. I'm not praying. I'm not doing certain things. I'm just not myself, not who I was intended to be. So I go through this phase from like 2001 to like 2013, 2013-ish. So 2011, my first wife and I divorced. My son is at Newman. He's playing ball at Newman, and he's doing his thing. And 2013 comes, which is like his, I don't know, I think his 10th grade year. This is where I reconnect with God. So from 2001 to 2013, I'm upset. Nothing's going right, but everything is still lining up like it should be. Taking care of my family, being a father to my kids.
Right.
I'm also, have decent jobs where I'm getting paid, all this other stuff. I worked with the Shaw Group for many, many years. My son goes on and plays football. My daughter's doing her thing in Houston. And then here comes 2017, 2018. I meet the love of my life for the second time.
Yeah.
So I meet her, Lori, beautiful woman. She's my backbone. She's my strength. She's everything. And she helps me with my life and as I go and move forward today. But I'm centered.
Yeah.
I have God to thank for bringing me to the place where I am today.
Yeah.
Literally, it chokes me up.
Yeah, man.
It makes me feel truly blessed to be covered. Now, with that being said, Lori and I married in 2018. We haven't looked back since. She has a daughter, so we're a blended family. She's at Georgia Tech. She's doing fine. I now work with Michael Polito, who gave me an exceptional shot back in 2017 to do my thing. And I went from accepting a position that I was a little bit overqualified for to when I tell you, when you center yourself with God and covered and you're walking in ordered in the steps, you just, everything takes off like a rocket. And so now I'm the vice president for our maintenance side. And I'm doing a lot more things for not only for MAP, but for myself and other people, meaning I get to impact people's lives in a purposeful manner, positively. Right. And when I told you it would all come back, and so I'm just button this up for you real quick. Every time that I became a starting quarterback on whatever level, it was due to circumstance, a divine appointment where God had to step in, meaning someone was injured or something happened to where it gave me the opportunity to. Whenever I tried to make it happen, try to go to the league, it didn't happen. Right. But what happened is there was a different set of steps that God wanted me to walk. And now he's put me in a position to where I can do the things that I thought I was supposed to do there, here now.
Yeah,
so
man.
here I am.
Wow. Well, Herb, brother, I can't tell you, I wish we had more than an hour.
Yep.
But maybe this is a time where you can come back and be a guest and we can pick up from this particular spot in your life, man, and we can dive more into who you are, what you've been doing.
Yep.
But thank you, my brother. I love you, man. And I'll end with this. If no one has told you today, Herb Tyler, and if no one has told any of our listeners, I love you with the love of Christ, brother. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And be a light that shines so bright today that it has the impact to save someone's life.
Received.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Geaux2Legends, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Geaux2Legends fans, we ask that you subscribe, like, share, tell everybody who's an LSU fan, your uncle, your mom, your dad, your cousin, sister, everybody. Share this with them, have them do the same, and I promise you, y'all won't regret being a part of the Geaux2Legends podcast.
The struggle, the hustle, the blood, the sweat, the tears from the L's you took, don't forget. Survival of the fittest, the cheers, the rings and bucks, now legendary status, that's what's up. The struggle, the hustle, the blood, the sweat, the tears from the L's you took, don't forget. Survival of the fittest, the cheers, the rings and bucks, now legendary status, that's what's up.